trained as a reporter at the London College of Printing, which is now the London College of Communications, which was run, the course was run by two brutal journalists who worked in local radio, and you had to get on the phone and ring up people, ring up the House of Lords, and ring up the police, and go to councils and get people to talk to you for your student radio, and it was really, really tough. And then you were put out to work experience, and my first work experience was on Radio Humberside. I came up to Hull, and I've been at university here, so I thought it was great, and it was just absolutely awful. I made a huge mistake on my first story and I messed it up, and I just never forget it. I had to kind of read it live into the news because I'd messed up the whole recording of the story, and I was forced to do it, and I was forced to pull myself together and stop crying and just get on with it, and that was a good lesson.
So you learned
really
from
tough,
that.
yeah.
And you know your husband, obviously your husband was an investigator for Panorama, and I remember the last journo day that we had, he said that his life was threatened and that he had to move away. Obviously, with him being your husband, did you have to flee with him?
Yes, yeah, we had to move house. I remember I just signed a book deal to write a book about contemporary art. We had two small children at the time, we have four now. We had a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and we had a death threat, and we had to move house. We went abroad for about 2 weeks, and we came back. We got a new house. We had to have a driver driving us around, a different driver every week, different car, and we just laid low for about 4 months, while he had done an investigation on hooligans in the Chelsea Football Club, the Chelsea Headhunters, so called, and the ringleader was arrested and prosecuted, and we were only allowed to move back into our house after he was put in prison. I happen to think the death threat was a hoax. I don't think it was from him. But the BBC was very, very, very responsible and looked after us well. And we came back, and to be honest, I gave away a lot of the stuff that I put in boxes because you realise you don't need them. It sounds like a cliche, but actually it was the case. I just thought, I don't need these clothes. I've lived without them for 6 months. I don't need them anymore.
So, having your two children, and obviously with your husband being an investigator journalist, and you being a journalist as well, did that put a lot of pressure? How did that make you feel? I mean, at that time, how did that make you feel? I mean, bearing in mind we're going into journalism, so we're going to come up with issues like that. So how do we deal with it?
I think that you never quite know how you deal with it. You deal with it, you think, I must keep the children safe because they are vulnerable. You think it is unlikely that someone's going to shoot me in broad daylight. We have had a death threat, and Jill Dando, the TV presenter, had just been shot in broad daylight. So I think you just take it as it comes, and when it happens, you're never really ready for it. But it suddenly becomes quite normal to be living in a different house, and we couldn't tell. The children had a nanny. We couldn't tell the nanny. We just said, "Oh, we were having a problem with the roof. Or, we've got to move house." I mean, it was just the most bizarre thing. But it was okay. It became normal after a while. I know that sounds weird, but it just did. The presenter, Donald McIntyre, also got a death threat, and he had people leaping out behind bushes at him, attacking him. So, he was also put his life in danger.
Do you think journalists should have protection?
Well, I think if you're an investigative journalist in some parts of the world, it's very, very difficult, and I think that there are many journalists around the world who are in prison, and I think probably they should have protection. I think in ISIS-ruled states, if you speak to the press, you are beheaded. I mean, there's a piece going on the Today programme currently where reports from ISIS are being dramatised and being read out, and those people are very, very brave, very brave. Of course, if you're in a society that needs protection, you're probably not going to get it, are you? Because by the nature of the society, your life is under threat.
Right, well, just one more question, Rosie, to end with. You always say, ask them awkward questions, which you've said today, so I just wanted to ask you
Go for it.
one question. I do apologise if I upset you, but the City of Culture have just done an announcement for volunteers, and people want to know, why are they asking for volunteers when they're being funded so much money?
Oh, well, it was part of our bid that we would have 4,000, up to 4,000 volunteers. Because volunteering is part of the whole thing, it's part of the whole joy of the event. You know, the games makers, I mean, the budget for the 2012 Olympics was something like 300 million. I mean, it was enormous, or 500 million. But they had the games makers, the volunteers, who gave a whole kind of welcome to the city, and it's a way of actually engaging everyone, well, thousands of people, in the spirit of 2017.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a bit of volunteering at home. I run a brownie pack, and I just love running it. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy working with brownies. And you know, I was a volunteer the other day. I was a marshal in a park run, and I just helped some people believe that they could run this race, 5K. And they came in at the end, they finished, I gave them a big hug. It's just wonderful. And actually, to being really engaged with City of Culture, you could do a lot worse than be a volunteer. It's got nothing about the funding. Actually, it costs us quite a lot of money to have volunteers, because they need feeding and they need clothing and training. So it would be a great experience for people. And you know, you don't have to do it for a year. I mean, I know it's a year, City of Culture, but if you volunteer, you'll just be doing it for a short bit of time. So please sign up.